The following episode will contain spoilers. You have been warned.
You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? If you've ever run down a unicorn on the way to your big farmer boss's house, you know it can get messy quickly. And you also might know that apparently unicorn meat is purple. Also, humans are assholes. Amber and Scott saw Death of a Unicorn. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
1, 2 unis coming for you. 3, 4, don't chop off its horn.
Yeah. Don't mess with the unicorn.
Yeah, no joke.
Interestingly enough, this movie is categorized as a comedy. This was not a comedy. I think someone messed up here on our AMC app. Hello?
No. I actually disagree with you.
You think this was a comedy?
It was a dark comedy,
Huh.
which don't always necessarily resemble like ha-ha comedies.
All right. Well, folks, we are talking about Death of a Unicorn. A father and his daughter accidentally hit and kill a unicorn while en route to a weekend retreat with his billionaire boss. And on the way, they are traveling through a protected area of wilderness, and Elliot, the dad, is messing around with his phone as they're going down these windy roads where there's animals, not paying attention like a big dodo head, and hits an animal. And they get out of the car and they see what kind of animal it is, and it's a unicorn.
I believe to quote, who was the daughter's name?
Ridley.
It's a fucking unicorn.
Yeah, and so I struggled with this film because there was so much unicorn violence in it, and I shrieked, and I yelled out, and I cringed. So when Elliot hits this unicorn, and who has not died, is just laying there in the road, bleeding purple blood, and his daughter Ridley touches the unicorn's horn because it starts to light up, and she has this cosmic moment where she is going through the colorful universe and having this out-of-body experience, which abruptly stops because her dad, Elliot, has now basically taken a tire iron and bludgeoned the unicorn. So we have the unicorn almost killed once with the car. Then we have him bludgeoning the unicorn. So the unicorn's now suffered a second blow. And at this point, they load up the dead unicorn into the back of their vehicle and continue on their way to Elliot's boss's place because he doesn't want to get in trouble with the ranger because you're not supposed to hurt the animals in the wilderness area.
Not supposed to, but
Yeah.
if there's a unicorn in the middle of the road.
Well,
I mean,
that's why you pay attention and don't mess with your phone when you drive.
Yeah. So putting the IRL in Cinema IRL here.
Are you struggling?
Well,
Do you not believe in unicorns?
here's the thing. Okay. If it's not a unicorn, if it's just a regular animal like a deer or something, as gruesome as it is, what Elliot did was theoretically the most compassionate thing. Like they're
Why
obviously.
can't you take it to a doctor?
Well, it
What a
depends.
compassionate thing.
Well, for one, most doctors really aren't going to. I found a wild deer. What are you going to do with it? I mean, they're not going to do much. They're going to euthanize it.
Isn't that a more humane thing to do than to bludgeon a living creature in the head with a tire iron?
But how are you going to get it to a doctor?
They They carried the unicorn into the car.
Well,
The
yes,
unicorn was in the car, so
well,
they could do that. They could do it with the deer.
But the unicorn was dead. I mean, quote unquote dead, but
yeah.
like it was lifeless. It wasn't moving. If the animal's still alive, it's not going to be real keen on you. Just
I mean,
picking-
pray I never have to
Yeah.
deal with that kind of an issue. That said, if I'm going through a wilderness area where wild animals are possibly going to bound into the street, I pay attention for their well-being and my well-being, because nobody wins in that scenario.
Yeah, I am going to say this. I didn't quite catch the model of that car, but considering how hard they hit that unicorn for what little damage was done to that car, I mean, that thing gets a 5-star safety rating from me. I mean, that thing did not look like it had much damage on it at all.
I don't think it was an actual name brand car. I remember looking at it and thinking it didn't look like a real car, that it looked like it had some sort of fake emblem on it. So Ridley and Elliot continue their way up to the boss's mansion, thinking that at night they will bury the unicorn so they don't get in trouble, so the park rangers don't find out what happened and his boss doesn't find out what happened. So they're in the house saying their hellos, getting settled, and the car starts rumbling around, and the unicorn is not dead. Or did the unicorn come back to life? I don't know. We'll have to see. So the unicorn is bucking the car, bouncing all around, knocks out the windows, trying to get out of the car, because at this point it's trapped in the car and it can't get out. And then some mofo shoots the unicorn in the head. So now the unicorn has been hit by a car, bludgeoned with a tire and iron, and shot in the head. I'm very traumatized within the first couple minutes of this film.
Okay, so I'm going to give a what would you do from the perspective of a unicorn. And that's, I wouldn't be hanging out anywhere near some pharmaceutical giant's CEO's house.
Well,
so
he
that
wasn't hanging out there. They lived in a cave on the side of the mountain, and he was frolicking along the forest like unicorns do, stepped into the street to cross to, again, frolic in the forest, and mofo Elliot's messing around with his phone, not paying attention, and hits him. He wasn't hanging out at near some pharmaceuticals owner's house. He got taken there after being hit and bludgeoned.
Potato.
So now I'm traumatized for a third time that something's happened to this unicorn. And when Elliot bludgeoned this poor unicorn, the blood splattered everywhere, this purple blood, and got over him and got over his daughter. And his daughter goes to the bathroom at the house when they arrive at the boss's house, and she realizes her terrible acne that she had driving up is now gone, and that's where she got splattered with the unicorn blood. And Elliot is starting to read a proposal to his rich boss, and all of a sudden his glasses don't work, and he takes them off, and he has perfect eyesight. Again, he was splattered with the purple unicorn blood. So unicorn blood looking like it has magical properties.
Yeah, let me tell you, I wouldn't mind a splattering myself.
Yeah, and that's definitely where the rest of the film takes us. So not to get too lost in the weeds here, let me just wrap up what happens for everyone so we can dig in. The pharmaceutical guy then realizes this blood is magic. He has cancer. He's dying. He gets an infusion of the blood. Dun, da, da, da. He no longer has cancer. They realize that they want to reproduce this. The doctor says, you can't reproduce it. You have to have the unicorn. So then they want to take the dead unicorn.
Are we getting out of the
and
weeds or
harvest
staying in
it?
the weeds?
Well, I'm just trying to give folks an idea of what happens here. And basically, we later find out that the unicorn is actually the baby unicorn of 2 adult unicorns, and they are exacting revenge.
1, 2 unis coming for you.
Yeah, they're angry that you hurt their baby. So the rest of the movie is these white unicorns turning black and having salivating mouths out for vengeance and revenge and destruction against what happened to their baby.
So I know you're anti-animal testing.
Yes.
I'm not a fan of it myself.
I mean, most of the vast, overwhelming majority of it is not required by law. It's so much of it is just to prevent lawsuits, and even testing that is for diseases. It doesn't look the same in a rat or a monkey or a beagle as it does in a human being.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're testing
Animal testing has actually delayed the vaccines, medical progress, because people extrapolate that information and try to say that it's the same with humans, and it's just not. Go ahead.
Well, not necessarily. If you're trying out
Not
the
necessarily what?
effects of your mascara, no, you can F off.
Product testing, yeah.
We don't need animal testing for that. Pharmaceuticals.
But it's not the same. It doesn't matter what happens to a monkey or a pig.
But they know that, and they're able to extract certain data from it. Now,
and that's why we don't have any
pretend
bad
to actually know
diseases.
about.
We don't have any bad diseases, right? Because all that medical testing on animals was working so great.
I was talking, but
So
sure.
was I.
Yes, very. No, I didn't say that we cured all the diseases.
Well, we
What the
haven't.
F?
Well, I'm just saying it doesn't work. I mean, the fact that we're still riddled with all of these diseases shows
We
it doesn't-
still have diseases. That means none of the animal testing we've ever done has ever worked and ever helped with anything we've ever produced.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. Sorry,
You-
I'm putting the IRL back in cinema IRL.
Well, we can have a talk, and I can show you my data, and you can show me yours. I know you don't have any data. So anyway, let's get on to the bigger picture of what actually happened in the film. So
Anyway, unicorn blood cures cancer. Well, now do we have a moral dilemma? Because, yeah, we don't want to F with the unicorns, but their blood cures cancer.
yeah, and
Even if I'm not like a CEO of Big Pharma, I'm probably going to be like, I'm going to need some more of that blood and horn.
I hope the unicorn probably turns black with salivating mouth and a bloodlust for your throat.
Or maybe we can just find a way of like, maybe just like shaving it a little bit. Just like
Shaving what?
shaving some horn off the unicorn. Like don't cut it off, just shave it. And use little pieces. Like we don't need the whole thing.
Yeah, and this family was, oh my gosh, they were so terrible. So the couple has a son who winds up snorting part of the unicorn's horn.
Yeah, he can F off.
Yeah.
That was one of the more satisfying deaths.
Yeah, and then he directs
I've
one
seen
of
it
the
in a while.
doctors to cut off the unicorn's horn, which was very uncomfortable to watch. And yeah, no, he was a terrible human being. So slowly but surely, the unicorns throughout the film start killing all the people because they are the black dark unicorns who are out for vengeance.
I really liked when the one made the CEO guy think like, oh, he's being nice. He's
Oh, yeah, I
letting me
know.
touch it. Oh, and then just jams that horn right through his freaking skull.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It went through the bottom of the chin, up through the head. So then the man, actually had
Yeah.
a unicorn horn coming out the top of his head.
Yeah,
It was
he-
poetic. I liked
Yeah,
it.
he was a unicorn at the end.
Yeah, I mean, you know me. I believe that animals are here for their own rights, not for us to use or eat or wear or exploit in any way, shape, or form. That every living creature here on this planet has its own right to its own life. And yeah.
Yes,
so-
but I'm going to tell you, if I'm sorry, and I mostly agree with you, but if we found that
But the thing
panda blood cured cancer,
But the thing that you're skipping over in the film, since we're not talking about generalities here, we're talking about what happened in the film, is at that point there was one unicorn that they knew of, and they're like, okay, well, if we can't manufacture this, we're gonna sell it, which basically means it goes to the highest bidder. So it goes to all the wealthy people who get to find a cure for cancer and get to be all okay. And if, heaven forbid, if you're a normal Joe, too bad, so sad, you get to continue to have cancer because only the richest of the rich would be able to afford this limited resource And yeah,
But-
so
but
there's your
honestly-
cancer cure as it goes to
But that's-
Elon Musk and his pals.
Well, that's exactly the way it should be, precisely, because it is a game of supply and demand. There is a very limited supply, and you're going to definitely have more demand than you're going to have supply, and that's when the price goes up. Like,
That would be an interesting poll for our audience, is if there was a cure for cancer and it could go to help people who had money, but you didn't have enough for it, would you still want there to be a cure for cancer? Or would you want the entitled rich people to get sick and die along with you? I mean, that would be an interesting ethical question, because I think most people, at least a good portion of people, would be extremely resentful and angry that they did not get the same opportunity.
I need to remember to not be too successful around you, or else
no
you're
problem.
gonna want me dead.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, you basically were like, guys, if we have a chance to kill the rich or not kill the rich, which one should we do? I think we should kill the rich.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I think that would be a really interesting
No, but
dinner
but
conversation.
but it's actually what you said.
What do you mean?
Like, okay, there's these sick rich people that could be
There's
cured
sick people
by this. Should
everywhere of
should-
all economic.
Okay, but should they be able to be cured? So because they have money, they shouldn't?
No, I'm just saying I wonder if you were to present the opportunity to people who were suffering with cancer and ask them saying, hey, there's a cure for cancer. You don't have enough money to qualify for it, but we can help the richest of the rich people get better.
Oh, you're asking people who have cancer?
Yeah.
Well, of course they're going to say fuck off. I thought you said...
Well, I mean, doesn't their vote count more than anybody's if they're in that same population of someone that's facing the terrible disease of cancer?
But I mean, this isn't just pharmaceuticals. It is.
I mean, I just think it'd
you
be
know
curious,
I'm
and
a capitalist at heart.
I'm not making any judgments here one way or the other. I just think it would be really interesting to know if someone who had a disease would want someone to get better from it, or if it was only because rich people qualified for it, if they'd want just the rich people to get better and they and them and theirs and the rest of people in that socioeconomic level or below, too bad, so sad, you still have cancer.
I mean, listen, I'm no fan of big pharma. When insulin prices got to the point that they were insane, and for no real great reason, like they could still make insulin. They just were like, hey, we know people need this to survive. Let's gouge the hell out of them.
Or EpiPens was the situation for a while.
Like stuff where you legitimately...
Life and death.
You legitimately have, I won't say an unlimited supply, but an effectively unlimited supply. Like you could continue to manufacture this and you gouge. Go screw yourself, big pharma.
Oh, yeah. No, that's evil. Flat out evil.
But in this situation where you actually can't recreate it and you have a limited amount, I know that it doesn't sound wonderful, but I mean, that is the very basic principle of supply and demand. And if you've got the money, you get the product. I mean, that's...
Well, and that's why I think it would be interesting if that was put to a vote. Is do the wealthy get better? And if you're not wealthy, then you still have cancer and you're sick and you ultimately die? Or are you all in this together to all find a cure together? I think it would be a very interesting conversation to have with folks. But for the moment, you're my folks. It's just us here.
Yeah,
Unless you guys are screaming at the at your phone or your computer at the moment about what we're saying or what I'm saying.
I believe if you can save lives, you should save lives. Like it doesn't necessarily matter that they're rich. I mean, like, in general, you should. Now, there are some exceptions. Most of those exceptions at the moment are running around 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I would not necessarily want them to get those cures. But most other people.
Okay, so let's look at some other things within the film. So obviously we have our family who's in the pharmaceutical industry who's looking to make their bank, and you have some rampaging unicorns out there that have turned black and are looking for revenge, and they're not going away. What do you do if you're in a house surrounded by unicorns gone wild?
Make peace with my maker. Like,
maybe your maker's a unicorn. Do you ever think of that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what you do. I mean, if you're not a pure-hearted maiden, you're pretty much effed.
Okay, so I'm okay. I'm okay.
But no, seriously. I mean, you do what was the servant guy?
Griff.
You do what Griff does. If the unicorns get distracted, run like hell.
Yeah, and the thing is, so towards the end, and again, spoiler here, the unicorns end up bringing the baby back to life, even after the baby has had his or her horn cut off, and has been run over, bludgeoned, and shot in the head. They're bringing the baby back to life.
Because we've established that unicorns can resurrect.
Yeah, because they're magical.
Yes.
And they put Elliot,
who got stabbed by an arrow after he jabbed the son with the horn.
Yeah, so he had died, and they drug Elliot over with the baby to bring Elliot back to life too, which I thought was incredibly magnanimous of the unicorns, because it was that butthead who killed their baby in the first place.
They didn't do it for him.
Yeah, they did it for the girl.
They did it for the daughter. If the daughter hadn't been there, they would have been like, screw off, dude.
I would like to think so, because I was like, really? Oh my gosh. The reason you have had this night from hell and had to deal with all the stress of your baby is because of this man. And they brought this man back to life, which I thought was another example of how animals are better than humans, because...
Well, that's definitely true.
Yeah, that was pretty surprising.
Yeah, no. I mean, I saw him do it. I'm like, yeah, no. Listen, that dude's not getting resurrected because he's a good person.
Yeah, he wasn't as bad as the pharmaceutical family, but he made a lot of wrong choices there and was wholeheartedly responsible for everything starting up and being a problem. Don't drive and look at your phone, because you might hit a unicorn.
Yeah. So that's probably one thing I would do, is not drive distracted in the Canadian wilderness, whatever.
They were in Canada?
Yeah. You know, yeah. So when they flew in at the beginning, there was an Air Canada logo.
Yeah, I remember on the plane.
I'm assuming that they were flying into Canada. It makes sense.
Maybe.
And actually, I think they did reference something about being this far north, and
this is stimulating.
What?
So this is stimulating viewing. They were on Air Canada.
Yeah, we're not gonna have a good way of ending this week.
I ended it like a minute ago when I was saying about don't drive and hit a unicorn.
Oh, bye!
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.